Well, we got to see lots of wickets today. A lot was spoken about this pitch and how whether it's going to offer turn or not. But one man who really stood out today was Jamie Smith, and he joins us today on pitch side. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us, and of course with him is Lord Gower. So great to have both of you here. Jamie, well done. I mean, considering the fact that it wasn't the easiest pitch to bat on, what were you thinking when you were coming out? Obviously, England had lost a couple of wickets. What was the strategy behind the way you played today?
Yeah, I think, as you said in previous, no one quite knew actually what to expect from this wicket. I think the last game everyone sort of knew that it was going to spin and spin quite heavy. But coming into it, I think no one quite knew the level of spin that would happen, especially from day one. So yeah, I think it was just trying to seize momentum as and when we could. I think we've seen the opening partnership there between Zach and Ben Ducker. They got us off to a really good start. Wickets fell playing the way we want to play. I think we've all been working our sweeps quite a lot in the last few days in the lead up to this test. And then yeah, it was about seizing momentum and trying to put them under pressure.
Well, it definitely seemed like after lunch there was a change of plans. We got to see that wonderful partnership with you there as well. Before that, we were seeing a lot of sweep shots being executed. What was the talk during the lunchtime? I mean, how did it sort of change in what we saw after lunch was a different kind of a strategy from England?
Yeah, it was. There's actually nothing spoken about at all. I think it was just with the flow of the game. Obviously, batting with Gus there, he played really nicely as well and took a lot of pressure off me. And we didn't actually speak about it at all. It sort of looked like we flicked a gear, in the space of a couple of overs, but it wasn't the case at all. It was almost just, we knew they're bowling a lot of spin, and how could we actually make them change a little bit of what they were doing? And I felt like we did that, and that gave us a bit more initiative going forward.
So for you, it's just the instinct of saying, right, now is the moment. There's no instruction, there's no sort of word from above. What makes that change for you? Because obviously it had been a question of trying to play straight, looking at what had gone on before, and surviving and building. Was that the moment you felt, now I understand this pitch?
Yeah, a little bit. As you said, it's getting yourself in and getting accustomed to the wicket and that sort of thing. But yeah, it was almost that we felt at the time that they'd bowled from the same ends for quite a long time, and you can feel that even though they're bowling nicely, you can get quite tired out there, and even though they're just spin being bowled. So we almost thought, how could we change them in a way? I mean, we've got the off spinner then changed ends, and it sort of allowed us to play a few more shots. Fielders went out, and suddenly the pressure was released that way. So I felt we did that quite nicely, and as I said, I think Gussie played a superb little cameo there as well.
I was just sorry. Yeah.
No, go.
No, go for it.
I was going to say, do you regret at the end not going straighter on 89, 91, whichever it was at the time on the scoreboard?
Yeah, a little bit. You always have them sort of regrets, don't you? But to be fair, I think I got away with a few of them before then. But I was just, it was almost in the moment. You were just carrying on with what had been so successful at the time, which was to keep going and putting them under pressure.
Worked well.
Well, we saw a wonderful knock by Gus Atkinson as well. You were just mentioning that. I mean, how easy it is for you then when you have somebody like him batting on the other end and batting with so much confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. He played superbly there, and as you said, he took a lot of pressure off me that allowed me then to, take a few more singles. He really put them under pressure, and as I said, it almost helped that at that time we sort of both went at the same time. So almost, as you said, it made it seem as though we had a game plan of really taking it on. That wasn't the case. It was just the flow of the game, and he was doing it at one end, I was able to at the other. So we really put some good runs on there at a point.
Well, it was a wonderful partnership by you both, and I'm sure that you want to go and rest now, so I'm going to leave you to it. DG, you're not going anywhere because we've got to talk more about what happened today. Lots of reflections and lots of thoughts after the short break. I've been joined by Bazid Khan on pitchside. DG, just in terms of how England would be looking at today, they've managed to get 3 wickets of Pakistan, and they bowled rather disciplined lines that we saw from them when at the close of play.
Yeah, I think given the way the day had gone for them, essential to pick up wickets. Yeah, if Pakistan had, say, survived just 1 or 2 down, it wouldn't be quite so good. I think the one thing England will regret, actually, is not making more runs from the top order. We had Jamie here just now, who explained how he had to play, and by the time he came in, he realised, and they all realised, that playing straight would bring more dividends than trying to play all those sweep shots. But the top order, Pope gone for 3, Root for 5, Brook for 5. There's a lot of potential runs there. And even on a pitch like this, which turned from ball 1, you feel, or I feel as anyway, that 267 was under par for England. So that's the one thing they'll regret, but they still have a lead of 194, so that's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of what Pakistan were looking at, Baz, of course, when they did go out to bowl, they would be looking to get England out cheaply in these conditions. And once again, the spinners doing the job for Pakistan.
Yeah, after having lost the toss, you take 5 wickets in the first session any day of the week, and not so much of the ball turning square. It was few deliveries that actually kept a little low, but more often than not, it was the sweep shot and England trying to force the pace that allowed Pakistan in the game. They say that you can't win a test match in a session, but you can certainly lose it. Now, how significant that session will be, we'll only know at the end of the game, where you won the toss and lost 5. But yeah, the spinners been brilliant. Both Noman Ali and Sajid have been so consistent with their length, especially. So impressed by the way that they've been able to hold the length throughout this test match and also the previous test match, and that will also come to the fore in the second innings. But yeah, as David said, I think England in the end, although they recovered really well, they got runs, but in the end they maybe left runs out there in the centre, having won the toss and batted first on a pitch that you expect to go slower and slower.
Well, unless, of course, they make early inroads tomorrow, from Pakistan's perspective, if they lose quick wickets and they're not able to get any kind of a lead, then England will be in a satisfactory position. And we saw that there were certain deliveries that were troubling the batsmen. There is something in the pitch for the bowlers.
Look, let's face it, someone has worked incredibly hard on this pitch to make sure it does something. And that was evident from ball 1 this morning. I think the plan for England is very straightforward. Keep chipping away, keep consistent. We've got a bit of chance for someone like Rayan Ahmed to bowl a few overs tomorrow as well, which will be interesting from the spin department. And any lead will be handy, because my feeling is that you'll just see a steady progression of scores downwards in this game. That would be the logical way to look at it. I mean, just looking at these wickets going down at the end, even from the tail, you can say that England could have ground out a few more runs. I mean, Rayan Ahmed's shot was ill-judged. Jack Leach gets the final wicket. But even there, in an era of Test cricket where actually every team looks at the way they can eke out runs, there were failings there. But just, the man holding the ball aloft there, Sajid Khan, bowled beautifully. I mean, he's a very, very experienced, very wily campaigner. And so those changes of pace, the change of flight, all that sort of stuff, and those stumpings, they're all part of his skill.
What do you think Pakistan's approach should be, Baz? Because we've seen that England revised their plans after lunch. There were a lot of sweep shots that were being executed, and everybody's talking about how you need to be playing straight. What do you think Pakistan should be doing? Because you don't want them to be getting into sort of a shell mode as well, getting really over defensive either. So what exactly should they be doing?
Yeah, it's the balance that in every aspect of life, and especially batting, you need a balance between how to attack and how to defend. So if you find that balance, you'll get a lot of runs. But the one wicket that's probably play on their mind is Abdullah Shafiq, because it turned and stayed slightly low. But otherwise, there's not been a lot happening. There's the odd one that's turned. It's not a pitch where at the moment you think that everything's going to turn square, so you just bat normally. The one thing that Pakistan have is a batting order that goes pretty deep. So you've got Salman Ali Agha coming at number 7, then we had Noman Ali who had got runs, and those late order runs are very important. So it's not a case that yes, you want to swing from the hip, but you want to find a balance, and yes, tick the runs over, but it's not a pitch where you go and sweep and reverse sweep and try and take the bowlers on. You bide your time.
Just on Abdullah Shafiq as well then, this last couple of years, last year or so, has been pretty hard for him. He hasn't found his runs. And again, he was somebody who came into the business looking really good, hasn't really been able to deliver those runs. What's happening with him?
Well, every player, once he comes into international cricket, he does go through a period where he's found out. People know where to bowl to him and how to get him out. And you have to then ride that out or get better. At the moment, he's got a slight issue with the bat face coming from gully. But he is a quality player, and you would expect him to overcome this, and that's the beauty of Test match cricket. You need to evolve every day, otherwise you get left behind.
All right, things are definitely evolving in this test match rather quickly. So thank you so much for your thoughts. And we've got day 2 lined up for you. All the action continues tomorrow here from Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. We will be joining you once again live at 9:25 a.m. for this Bank Alphala Presents Kingdom Valley Test Series. Well, it's been a great day for Test cricket. Lots of action, lots of wickets and some runs as well. So plenty to look forward to on day 2 of this Test match. From here until tomorrow, it's goodbye.